Hi, my name is Roger Schluter. Today's video, tonight, is really about small business loan shysters. And shysters are in a lot of different areas of lending and of money. I mean, all you know that you just get on YouTube and you can, you'll see every kind of person that's trying to tell you how to invest. They're trying to tell you how to save money. They're trying to tell you how to pay less taxes. Trying to tell you how to get business loans. Um, that doesn't make me a shyster, but let's see. Anyway, small business loan shysters are everywhere. I mean, they're in every part of the finance world. They're more prevalent in the lending field, because a lot of times they may go by a financial loan advisor or loan packager. Most will guarantee that they can get you the financing, but a lot of them won't really sign a contract. And contracts can vary. They will also usually want a fee that is usually paid up front. And this is like doing construction on your house. You don't want to pay the whole fee up front. The guy may not come back. So anyway, most will do some work. Then sometimes they ghost you. Especially if they don't have a contract, you really don't have anything to do. Your word against theirs. And then if they give you a contract, it will usually have or not have any milestones or any benchmarks, that need to be met. It'll usually just be a contract. I'm going to help you get a loan, blah, blah, blah. Here, sign it. You're going to pay me this. So anyway, some will give you some sort of report, but usually they'll give you very little in writing. Most shysters don't really like to put stuff in writing, and they really don't want to have to live up to actually doing the full job. So it really depends. But anyway, they're out there. I've run into quite a few in my lending career, and so you need to be very careful. Now, I worked as a consultant in helping businesses get loans. For times when either I was in between jobs or sometimes I had a job once where I worked there and they said, yeah, you can go ahead and do that as long as you don't, try to, I guess take other loans that you're doing for us and try to make those a consulting deal. But, basically a lot of the businesses that I run into though, even though they know you're doing this for money, you're doing this to put food on the table, a lot of businesses don't want to pay for assistance. They want to get it for free. I've seen people say, well, they question me like, how would you do this? What are you going to do for me? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm giving them a lot of information. And then sometimes they don't call back because they're just putting that together and saying, hey, I can do this on my own. I'm surprised at the business people, and this is owners of a nice business, a pretty, that's got a lot of sales. And when I asked for like a document, like an operating agreement, that goes with the LLC documents, he would go, I'd say, hey, it's better if you have an attorney do that. And he would say, well, can I get that online? And I'd say, well, yeah, but you better be careful and make sure it's reputable. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, he's just trying to get it done for free. So anyway, when I was a consultant, I would have a contract that would state exactly what I was going to do for a client. I would state, if it was a short business loan presentation for a bank, because I've got another video on that, or just a loan packaging service. And I could have been working for them. I'm usually doing that. I'm usually working for the bank. I would always state how long, to get to my goals accomplished, and as well as when I was going to get done. So you really want to know what goals you're going to have accomplished and when you're going to get done. I would usually have two types of contracts. I would have one contract for a specific time, either 6 months or a year at a specific price. And then I would have another contract where I'd say, I'm actually going to do this until it's done. So I guarantee we'll find financing. And if it takes me 2 years to do it, if it takes me my lifetime, I'll do it. So anyway, or I'll refund your money. And that one, the funny part about it is the first one I did that I did guarantee, it was a set price. The price where I guaranteed it was a lot more. It was at least double or more of the other price. And I don't think I ever had a customer take the guarantee. I always had them take the lower price. And I was kind of surprised by that because I was going to say, if we do this for, 6 months or a year, whatever the contract was, and we don't get financing, I walk away and I keep the money. And if you do the guarantee, you may pay me, but if I don't get you financing, eventually I'm either going to have to get it or I'm going to have to give you the money back to break the contract. So anyway, I was just really surprised that all the businesses really took the cheap one, even though I didn't feel it was really in their best interest. But I mean, I'm just a consultant. I can't tell them what to do. I can just lay out the different products you have, and then if they want to take one of those products, that's fine. Now, I told you I've worked as a consultant, and if you've watched any of these videos, I've worked at banks. I've also worked for several not-for-profit organizations, and they usually won't charge you. Especially early in my career, I worked for the state, and I basically helped people get loans. I didn't have an MBA. I had some business classes. I didn't have a business degree. So anyway, a lot of these not-for-profits, they're not going to charge you, but then they're really not motivated. And many times they don't even have the expertise needed really to get you a loan. So I hate to say this, but I would avoid some of the not-for-profit organizations. Before you use one, I think I'd find out from them, have some people to call to see if they really helped them. In my contracts, what I would do, I usually say there's 5 must-have items in a loan or packaging contract. And the very first one is, when is this going to be accomplished, or what is going to be accomplished? What are we doing here? If you're getting me a loan, am I getting a loan for specific items or just a loan? Is this supposed to be a bank loan? Is this going to be, within good interest rates rather than just like 20% or something? So anyway, what would be accomplished here? And that is written down in the contract. The other thing, the number 2, would be the steps or milestones that we want accomplished, that you want accomplished and that I want accomplished. And those are very, either, sometimes the milestone is you want to talk to 4 banks. If it was a small business loan presentation, you'd want to talk to 4 banks. You want to go ahead and write up the small business loan presentation. And then a lot of times I'd go with them to the bank. And so, if I was there, I was usually, it went a lot better because I knew the answers to everything and I knew what the bank was going to ask. So anyway, sometimes when you go with somebody, though, they don't, there's 2 ways to dress when you go in a bank looking for a loan. One way is you put on a sport coat or a suit and you have a tie and you go in, and you're probably going to be better dressed than they are, but that's the goal. And then number 2 of ways to dress would be wear whatever you wear when you work. If you're fixing cars, you wear your, whatever your uniform is. If you, have a retail location, however you dress there. And usually that's okay. When you have the open collar shirt and the big chains and the, some of that, you just, I don't know, the tattoos on the arm and all that. I mean, banks are pretty conservative. Not that those things they're not conservative, but banks are pretty conservative, and so you really want to kind of get as close as you can to being like them, and that's always good. So anyway, the third thing would be a time period for the work to be done. Like I said, I did a lot of my contracts for either 6 months or to a year. For the ones that are guaranteed, I just said whenever it's done. I mean, forever, I guess. And I haven't. I don't think I ever had anybody take the guarantee. I really don't, and I never could believe that. It just blew my mind. So anyway, the number fourth item would be an exact price or a payment schedule for the work to be done. Now I know, I told you Shysters, they try to get all their money up front so they don't have to do anything later and they can run out on you. Usually what I did is I went ahead and took half the money up front. And the reason I did that is that if the person, after we started this, all of a sudden said, I don't want to do this anymore, you can go away. We're not doing this. I'm not doing it. Well, then I had half the money. And then, if they didn't pay the other half. Usually I had half up front, half when I'm done. And if they want, I'll bring over the finished product to show them, and I'll have appointments and everything. So, they were usually very glad to pay me when I was done. And then the number fifth thing you need on that contract is signatures and dates. Signatures and dates of when you signed that contract, when he signed it, when the consultant signed it, and when you signed it. And then also, if you have any milestones to hit or certain, you want to be at certain places or certain steps, you might want to put dates in there too. I mean, you don't want him to take a whole year just to find 4 banks for you to call on. So, I mean, things like that, you'd want to have dates also. And you may even want to have him initial those dates and initial those steps or milestones just to make sure, that if it ever goes to court, you could just say, well, he initialed it. He knew he was going to meet these. And like I said, I was only taken to court once, and it was, I always tell everybody, I don't know what SBA is going to say, if I do an SBA loan. So if they don't approve it, I'm not going to give your money back. So this person, they didn't approve it, and he asked for half his money back. And I was like, well, that's not like asking for all your money back. And then I didn't want the bank to be upset because that person was the bank's customer. And I wanted the bank to feel good about my services. So I finally just called up the court, said what I got to do. They said, pay this much. Here's a letter. Went ahead, paid that, met him. No, I didn't meet him at some weird alleyway. I just met him off the highway somewhere and just said, here. We just had him sign off, and I handed him the money, and we were done. So anyway, that's the only one time, though, my whole career. So anyway, so that's how a consultant should do a contract. The consultant should be an MBA or a CPA. He should, MBAs, if they know one thing, they know the future value of money, but they know a lot of other stuff. They do know about projections. They know how to read a financial statement. They know how to create a financial statement. And they do know a lot of the things that banks look for in loans. So anyway, you want him to have an MBA or a CPA. And then you want him to be able to give you a list of companies and industries that he's worked with. And then you also want a list of customers to call. And I found that, I had that, and whenever I had somebody ask me for that, I was like, whoa, hey, this is great. Because I'm not going to give him the guy who sued me in court. I'm going to give him the people that I know are going to give me a real good reference. And I'm not laughing because I pulled one over. I am remembering the one business that I had helped. So I was doing a franchise deal for a woman, and I basically told her, I said, hey, call this guy. And so she said, okay. And so all of a sudden he's calling me up saying, what am I supposed to say to this person? And I said, just talk to her. Just say what, reality, what's the truth? But I thought it was kind of funny because sometimes they're not used to that. They're not used to people calling them up and start asking them questions about the loan they did with me. So anyway, so it always is good to find out a list of the types of loans he did and the customers, the companies helped. Not necessarily a name, but you want to know the type of industry and the type of company, and then you do want a list of customers to call, to see if the person really helped them or not. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you're not going to run into any shysters today or this week. But anyway, if you would subscribe, if you like this kind of content, if you'd subscribe, it'd be great. I'm going to do about 2 videos a week. And if you really want your notifications, hit the notification bell. You'll get notifications when I put out a new video. And then if you took something away, something of value that you can use, then I really, or that somebody you know could use, I certainly hope you hit the like button too. So anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.